Hey everyone, Maverick Tractor Guy's Garage, and finishing up the night tonight, and I thought I'd just make a quick video for you. Kind of show you a little bit about a little side project I'm working on right now. Sometimes the old daily you got to do some work too and take care of a few things. Quite frankly, this is something I was really hoping to not have to do. You may remember a while back I made a video with some big thing I tried to do with this truck, which was to put some EFI on it, and specifically some Ace's EFI. And while it went pretty well for the most part, I started having a lot of issues, and issues that I think were not really the fault of the Ace's system. I think a lot of it was probably just me and not having the time and the knowledge to correctly diagnose it and get it really good the way it should be. And unfortunately, I just have a little better of an innate ability with the carburetor. So, as much as I hate to do it, but I also am glad I'm going to do it, or I should say, already have done it at this point, put a carburetor back on her. So here, kind of show you what we did. So, a little bit about what you're looking at here. Get you zoomed out, actually. So, remember we had the Ace's system on here originally, and basically what I did was I just took all that off for the moment, and I kept everything as it was, as intact as I could, so that way I can stick it on something else and try to learn it and figure it out better. But for the meantime, I figured I'd stick with something I know a little bit better. And I clean up the wiring here for this setup, and I essentially have two relays, and I need to put a third one in here actually to run my rear fuel pump, just for transferring. But I've got a fuel pump relay now and a ignition relay, or just a key on relay. The ignition relay gets its power from this 30 amp fuse. The fuel pump gets its power from this 20 amp fuse. And actually the ignition relay loops back around and it feeds these three fuses that are currently set up as the ignition power that goes to the coil on the new distributor. And then I have two other keyed powers, one of which will be for the rear fuel pump, which will run keyed power now through it, so that way we don't run the risk of leaving it on. And then I have another keyed power source that I can use for something else, whatever needed. I just figured another keyed power source is always a good idea. And then basically what we did is ran the harness in here nice and tidy. Don't mind this. This is all my vacuum gauge setup, so that way I can kind of see how we're doing for tuning. Keep in mind this is pretty rough at the moment. But we've got a new distributor in here from Speedway Motors. That's just their HEI conversion distributor. I know I'm going to get some flack of people talking about how they like the DuraSpark system, and DuraSparks can be good, and they can be decent systems when set up correctly and all through that. But quite frankly, I've just had very mixed luck, especially recently with the quality of aftermarket parts for those. So the GM HEIs are just so hard to beat anymore for reliability and longevity, and the fact that every one of the parts in that is a wear part, or a part that could fail, is something you can get from just about anywhere, and it's a common GM type part that you can get high quality replacements for much easier. And then for the carburetor, this is an old Motorcraft 4300 600 CFM 4-barrel I had laying around. I was going to put a Holly on here, and I had actually a bunch of Hollies that I was going to actually toss in, but all of them needed some work to rebuild them, and I had already started the rebuild process on this thing anyway. And plus, I think this carburetor is going to be a little bit better for daily driving because it's got air flaps and some other kind of creative things that make it much better for cruising and drivability down the road. So we're going to see how this thing runs. If not, I do have those Hollies I can throw on there for backup. And then I've just got a Holly fuel pressure regulator, adapting the fuel line pressure from the fuel pump down to what the carburetor needs. I might have to work on that a little bit. I think I am not able to bypass quite enough fuel, so I might have to cut in a bypass loop or something already to help this fuel pressure regulator cope. But we'll have to cross that bridge here a little bit later. But for the moment, I'm pretty happy with the way things are shaping up on it. And yeah, just give you a little quick fire up here. We'll see how she fires up. I just took the key back up, so we'll see how she does with the key. Actually, I got to make sure my fuel pump wires are still a little bit loose at the moment. I need to get some crimp connectors and get those all heat shrinked and crimped together so that they'll be good to go. But for the moment, we just got some twisted wires. See how she does. And you know what? I gotta tell you, that is pretty hard to beat. See, I've got a little bit of a clicking noise I gotta take care of, but you know what? That is pretty hard to beat with just the speed and how well that thing starts up. You know what? I will say though, say what you will about a carburetor, but my God, can they start nice when they're tuned right. This thing is far from tuned right though. I've got a lot more tuning to do on it. This is just rough setup, making it run, and then from that point here, we'll take a look. We're looking pretty good on that vacuum gauge so far, but I think we've got some more improvements to be made. And I got a couple other tricks I want to do with this that I'll tell you about a little bit later in another video. I just wanted to make this short little thing, kind of show you what we're doing, update you, give you some more video. I know I haven't been putting out as much as I would like to, but unfortunately with my work schedule and everything, it gets a little tricky sometimes to get stuff filmed and edited for you guys. So, yeah. But in the meantime, let me know if you like what you're seeing here. We will probably have a little more of this type of thing to be doing. I'm going to obviously clean up the rest of that, and I'll probably film a little bit more once I get that all cleaned and prettied up and ready to actually go. I'll probably film a part 2 to this, just to kind of show you where we're at. But for the moment, yeah, this is kind of the deal of where we're at with this truck. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's going to be hopefully an improvement from the EFI system for the moment. I really want to make that EFI system work, but I think for me right now, this is going to be the better option to have the truck run and drive like I need it to, and then I can screw with that and really try to learn that EFI system separately on other vehicles. So, appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned for more on this and all of our other stuff. Blue truck, I've got some more stuff that I've just got to edit and post up for that. And actually, once this truck is done and back on the road, Blue truck's coming back inside, and we're going to fix some other issues that I found over my wedding weekend that after that big long drive, I learned quite a few things that I need to do with that truck. So stay tuned for that. I'll be making a video talking about what we figured out there and where we're going next with it. So appreciate y'all watching. See you later.